Welcome back, you guys. This is Mark with NCEngravers, and today we're going to be working on the SD9 Ve. We have the slide, we have the barrel here, both are in stainless. We're going to end up doing a new pattern, something we haven't seen before. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a backstory, and that is we offer a lot of SD9 Ve work. Everything from just the optics to the Raptor to the window service. We've done some pretty advanced ones. They are a cost-effective pistol as far as purchasing something, upgrading it, and having a really nice weapon, but not spending the Glock price tag as far as building it. And customization doesn't fall short of any of those other models that are out on the market as well. So there's a lot of services that are available. This happens to be my slide and barrel. I had an opportunity to pick one up on eBay for fairly cheap. I ended up snagging about 5 slides, so you're going to probably see some other builds over the next couple of weeks, stuff that's mine, and they're all going to be pretty well crazy designs because there's no budget on them. So let's kind of jump into the work that I'm thinking in my head. Of course, this is mine. There's no customer, so when it comes to me, there really isn't any limitation on what we may do, and of course, there's no budget, so the sky is the limit as far as cut work goes. So we do want to do an optic cut on this pistol, and I did some research. We've had a lot of requests in the past for an RMR 507C, 508T type of optic, and I've always turned them down. I've always said, no, we're not going to do it. The slide really isn't wide enough. And I really sat down and took some measurements and had decided that I think it's doable. I think there is an opportunity of running the RMR on this pistol, which I Googled around a little bit, and I'd only seen like maybe 1 or 2 online. It looks like they almost kind of just used a plate and then they put the optic on the plate. So sometimes when we see that, almost with like an MOS gun of a Glock, the plate uses screws that are located closer to the center of the slide, and then the optic would sit on the plate, and of course the optic screws to the plate. We're not going to be cutting it in this style. We're actually going to be cutting it straight for the optic to mount on the slide. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to really take the next step further as far as adding a dovetail, adding an optic, using the suppressor iron sights. How does it work? How does it lay? How does it feel overall? No doubt it's going to be challenging because we haven't done one before. I do know that the measurement of the slide is very close to the width of the screws, so it's going to be a make or break here. I think we're going to be good to go anyhow. I just don't see it being a problem. If there is some sort of problem, I'll give you guys that opinion at the end. I do want to do a side shave. I don't think we're going to be doing a window here just yet. I don't know that, but we're going to be doing a side shave through here. We're going to be doing some knurling on this edge here. We're going to be removing the logo. I want to do a new logo there, so I'll cut a new circle pattern and then I'll laser a new logo into that socket. Haven't decided 100% on what logo. It's probably going to be my original one from 2015, 16, 17 that some of you old timers that have been following me probably have seen it before, and all you new guys are like, I don't know what's going on with that. So we're going to explain that a little bit better. And kind of same thing here. We're going to do a side shave. We're going to remove the text. We're going to do a cobra nose. And then on the top, it's going to get a little bit more unique because I want to do, it's going to be called the flex cut is what we're going to call it. And it's almost like a reverse ray. So the idea is that when we usually do a ray cut, it starts with the front and it goes this way. And then it would step over this way. And on the flex, it's going to be reverse. So it's basically going to start from back here and it's going to go this way. So you guys will be able to see that a little bit better. One of the other changes I want to make is since we're doing knurling on the sides, I want to do knurling only in the top sections between what I guess would be kind of called the flutes. So between the flex cut, we would do knurling in there. So we won't be doing knurling here. We won't be doing it here. We're not going to be doing it in front of the optic. We're not going to do it to the rear, but we're going to do it in this zone here, in between those serrations, those flutes. We're going to do it on the top and on the ejection side of the barrel, so I think that's an opportunity there. Of course, we're going to be doing it on the sides as well. So we got a little bit of smooth area, a little bit of raw, non-touch, and then we have some knurled pattern section. So I think it's an opportunity to really see how we can make this flow together, how everything's just going to look where we're not overpowering it and not just knurling the sides and knurling the top. I really want it to be a little bit different. So guys, we're going to jump into that work. Keep in mind, anything can change, and I say that just because we might get halfway through it and decide, let's do a window. We might get through it and say, let's do a new cobra nose. I don't know. So with it being mine, things can just change so fast along the way. We will update you at the end of the video if we didn't follow the work line that we described. And of course, we're going to review the work anyhow. So guys, let's jump into it and let's just see what we come up with. right, guys, now that we are back together, everything's been colored, the cut work's been completed. Let's take a look and see exactly how this came out now that we have those services processed onto the slide. We have a shave side, we've got knurling, we've got a logo, we've got the new flex cut. Nice exposure for showing the barrel. Of course, we have a shave side on this side as well. The optic, the new dovetail in the back, upgraded iron sights to align with the optic. Really, really nice. I want to talk to you guys just about a couple of things. So first and foremost, as far as just doing the optic cut, guys, that service is offered on the webpage. I know a lot of you are going to see this video and you're not interested in the rest of this, but you are interested in either a microdot optic that has a built-in rear iron sight, or you're interested in a full-size optic like a 407C, 507C, 508T, RMR, of course, and that has a separate listing. So you're going to be able to navigate over to that if you're only looking to process an order with an optic cut. I really like the way that this came out with the full-size optic on here. This is, once again, the first time we had processed one of these on this slide. Overall, real pleased with the way that it looks. Guys, I'm going to add some pictures to this. It's going to be tough to get everything to focus like it's supposed to and align correctly. I'll do my best to add a few pictures to that. Overall, I really like the cut work. We're seeing big weight reduction as far as the sides, as far as the Cobra nose, as far as obviously the top cut, the optic. These are all things that remove weight off the slide if you're thinking about a daily carry. I really like the way that the knurling came out because we did specific areas and not the entire thing. So we ended up doing the sides, right? We ended up removing the logo there. We ended up doing the top just in this zone. I didn't want to do the standard, which is the entire top, the entire sides. I went a little bit different this time. Guys, one of the other things that we did was the barrel. So we ended up doing a knurling pattern on the top and the ejection side of the barrel. We went to black. For the sake of the video, this ends up being our black that we use. This is not black nitride, but this is our internal coating that we use. And more than likely, this will get processed with our next batch of black nitride because that is what I do recommend if you're looking for the best quality of coating. Yeah, that's pretty hot. All right, guys, so let's talk a little bit about this coloring that we did here, and then we got a few more things I want to go over with you guys. So we ended up running copper as our main color, and you guys can see that on the bottom side. So copper is a base coat. It goes over everything. And then what we do is we let that fully cure out as it's supposed to, and then we went ahead and did blue titanium over that. I'm not sure you're gonna like it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Please leave a comment in the comment section below if you happen to like this color combination. A lot of the accented areas, like I ended up wearing it where the top side was copper, but the low side was blue. Of course, I got a little bit of that into the knurling as well. Bottom side blue, top side is copper. Also in the groove here, I really like that. I cleaned the front nose up, so the back and the front would kind of be a bear, and then we'd go into a coloring, so you can see that on this side as well. This ended up being a bear, and then I basically came down to the bear copper here and added just the blue titanium in the Cobra nose, which I really do like. We also see that a lot in the grooves. You can see these cupped areas are all blue. The top edges are mostly copper. It's going to be unknown a little bit how that comes out, right? Each project's going to be a little different. Each model we work on that we do coloring, the serrations are in different place. Some have knurling, some don't have knurling, some things like that. So they're all going to come out just looking a little bit different from each other. That is one of the unique aspects of the color pattern that we get. Let's talk about this logo right here. Guys, if you have seen, I'll include a picture, if you've seen me for a long time, or you've been watching me for years, a long time ago, I had added the snake, which was a kind of a personal logo, I guess is the best way to say that. It was something that I liked doing. I added the snake, and on this one I ended up adding 4 stars on each side. You know, one of the ideas that I have, and I've kind of been just kind of rattling around with that, is we have a lot of customers that come through that have really high-end builds, right? And they ask, hey, are you going to put a logo on there? And the answer is no, right? We don't really do logos. Matter of fact, if you know me, or you've been watching the channel long enough, I hate logos, right? I'd like to take every single logo off every single thing if it's at all possible. And I know that's kind of counterproductive when you're talking about doing work on something and representing yourself, right? Because that's why a lot of companies will add a logo, because the product goes back into the hands of the customer. They're advertising for themselves. Everywhere that firearm happens to go, every conversation that firearm is in, it has their logo on it. And I'm kind of the exact opposite, right? All those companies put the logos on, and I'm the guy that takes them off. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but that's just kind of my thought process and my mindset. But we have lately, you know, and it always kind of surfaces in patches, but we've had lately a bunch of customers that have, hey, have you thought about doing a logo, and do you want to do a logo on my gun? And if you do, why don't you do it? So one of the things that came about was maybe we would give an option on the webpage if people wanted us to put a logo on it. Of course, there's no charge. We would put a logo on your gun if that was something you opted for. The other option was doing something sort of like a ranking system where it's almost like if you spent a certain amount of money, or if it was a certain advanced type of build, maybe it's not a standard build, but it's something that was a custom build that isn't off the web page, we would do a logo, and it would be something similar to this, and we would do a star ranking system that would be the more advanced it was or the harder it was, the more stars it is. So it's kind of a tier system, kind of like if we decided to do something like that. So, you know, you'd be a 5-star, or an 8-star, or a 10-star, whatever we end up coming out with that. So I thought maybe that was something that we would run through with you guys and see if you thought that was a good idea. You know, hey, I want to do the Hive build of my Glock 19. I want to have the best of the best of the best, and I want it marked. And of course, we would put a logo on there, and then we would add the star ranking that correlates to how advanced it is, right? So it's just kind of would be one of those things as a resale value, as kind of a standoff point of, you know, you're hanging out with your buddies, you do your thing, they do their thing, and you show them your gun, and you're like, hey, I'm a X star, whatever that number is. I'm a star ranking through NCEngravers because this is what I had processed through them. So I don't know. I was kind of bouncing that idea around. It's maybe something that you want to leave a comment for in there. If you think it's a good idea, it's a good idea. If you don't think it's a good idea, you know, feel free to give your comment on that. It's obviously it's not something that we've done as of right now. It's just kind of a thought process is all it is. But guys, we would encourage you to follow along on our YouTube channel. There is obviously new stuff coming out. We've got some other projects that are here. As we get closer to the end of the year, we do tend to see a lot of big projects come out, right? So some of that stuff's processed over the summer, and it doesn't make its way to YouTube for several months. And other times, as we get a little bit closer into the end of the year, where we do have some sales going on, when we get into Thanksgiving, we do see a lot of those bigger projects surface as well. So there is an opportunity to see some stuff that you haven't seen, and there's also some opportunity to see some stuff that you have seen that's the new version of it. And that's kind of a specific way of saying that we have another video coming out of something you're very common with, but it's the newest version of what that is, and it's in such a full package that it'll be really cool to be able to see all the aspects of the configuration that are offered. Instagram and Facebook are obviously the quickest. You guys have probably seen this posted over there days before YouTube hit, okay? So we do encourage you to go over there. We really do encourage you to subscribe. We are trying to get our subscriber count up. We're trying to get our likes and our follows up on Facebook and obviously on Instagram. But a lot of the encouragement from YouTube comes from, do people like the video? It only takes you guys a second to click a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and it encourages us to keep doing the videos, right? Because if we're doing videos and nobody really cares about them, or they're watching but we're really not getting any feedback, then kind of why are we doing them, right? So it kind of does come out to be one of those deals that we would encourage you to, if you like it, hit the thumbs up. It obviously doesn't cost you anything but 1 second of your time, and it encourages us to continue doing, and it encourages other viewers that there's some cool content coming out and there's some cool stuff coming down, because that's why these numbers are going higher, right? So we would encourage you to participate along, even if it's not in some sort of a monetary value or in a service type of value. You can still help along the way. Guys, if you need anything, feel free to let us know. We've got a number on our Google, Facebook, of course our webpage. Feel free to call, feel free to text. We do process orders by email. We can always adjust a change in order. Once you've placed an order and it gets here, you can leave a note on an order. We can change it along the way before we start the work. We'll reach back out to you if there's a question about something before the work has been started. And of course, keep in mind the turnaround time. We are one of the quickest in the industry as far as doing stuff like optic cuts and single color Cerakote, NFA engravings. You know, a lot of these are 2 to 3 day, 1 to 2 day kind of process. So we are one of the quickest in the industry as far as turning out the highest quality work at the shortest possible turnaround time for duration, and just overall getting the best overall experience. This is why we have a 5-star rating on our Google, right? So we can't cheat Google. We end up having a 5.0, and we're way up over 100 feedbacks. So it's really cool that our Google reviews are climbing. Guys, if you need anything, just let us know.